Cincinnati issued a statement confirming that Clark is a part of the plan. Leaders say her passion for soccer and commitment to elevating women's Clark won't be playing in the new basketball league unrivaled. The 3-on-3 games start in January with 6 teams playing 14 games. Clark was offered a reported $1 million to take part, but sources say it is a thanks, but no thanks.
That's the sound of a $1 million door slamming shut in the face of the WNBA establishment. That wasn't just a business decision. That was a declaration of war. Everyone is spinning this story about Caitlin Clark's incredible business savvy, her brilliant move into soccer ownership, but they are deliberately ignoring the real story. The story they don't want you to know. This isn't about building a portfolio. This is about revenge. For months, we've watched them try to break her. The league, the union, even her own teammates. And now she is fighting back, using their own tactics against them. In this video, we're going to connect the dots and expose the truth. Caitlin Clark's rejection of $1 million basketball payday wasn't a choice, it was a weapon. And she's just fired the first shot in a battle for her own survival. Stay with me, because the details of this Cold War will shock you. To understand the revenge, you have to understand the betrayal. And it didn't come from Caitlin Clark. It came from the very people who should have been protecting her. The WNBA Players Union, the organization meant to represent all players, made a stunningly public move to isolate their biggest star. They announced an official merchandise partnership with a company called FM Cases, a huge deal for the players. They chose 8 players to be the face of the campaign. Angel Reese was there. Aja Wilson was there. But the one player who has single-handedly boosted league-wide attendance and shattered TV ratings was nowhere to be found. Coincidence? There are no coincidences in the WNBA. This wasn't some clerical error. It was a message, sent loud and clear from the union's leadership. Kelsey Plum, the first vice president of the union, all but confirmed the intentional snub. When asked about solidarity meetings during the All-Star game, she made a pointed remark that 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. Team Clark, not just Clark, but her entire camp, painted as outsiders who aren't part of the club. They were drawing a line in the sand. They were making her an enemy of the collective, punishing her for the very popularity the league desperately needs to survive. You don't just forget to include the most famous player in your league in a merch deal. You do it to send a message. And the message was clear. You are not one of us. The attacks weren't just happening in boardrooms and merchandise deals. They were happening on the court, right in front of our eyes. And the league, it seems, was letting it happen, or maybe even encouraging it. The numbers are horrifying, and they prove this isn't just tough basketball. An internal statistical analysis reveals that Caitlin Clark has absorbed 177% more flagrant fouls than any other player in the league. Let that sink in. Not 10% more, not 50% more, 177%. This isn't just aggressive defense. This is targeting. Viral compilations have shown a pattern of systematic abuse that goes far beyond normal competitive play, with officials often swallowing their whistles. And now we know why. An explosive report has surfaced, alleging a campaign orchestrated from the highest levels of the WNBA to manipulate referees and limit Clark's success. A suspended referee has allegedly confessed to being pressured and even paid to avoid calling fouls in Clark's favor. The confession details internal memos with coded language about the need to control the rookie sensation. If this is true, it means Commissioner Kathy Engelbert isn't just failing to protect her biggest asset. She's actively participating in a scheme to neutralize her. They aren't trying to compete with her. They're trying to physically intimidate her out of the game. They're trying to break her will. But they fundamentally miscalculated the person they were dealing with. The war against Clark wasn't just coming from the league and the union. The deepest cuts, the most painful betrayals were coming from inside her own locker room. The Indiana Fever, the team that should have been her sanctuary, has become a hotbed of jealousy and sabotage. A civil war is tearing the team apart from the inside out.
figures, and women's sports is trying to bring women's soccer to the Queen City. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark is reportedly joining FC Cincinnati to be a part of the National Women's Soccer League. Our partners at the Cincinnati Enquirer spoke with FC Cincinnati team officials who confirmed that Caitlin Clark is in fact joining as a member of the bidding group.
This move into soccer looks like a simple business decision on the surface, but it's the context that matters. While Clark was secretly meeting with FC Cincinnati executives, her own teammates were allegedly working against her. Sources inside the Fever organization claim that teammate Nelisa Smith may have leaked Fever play calls to her girlfriend, Dejonai Carrington, who plays for the rival Connecticut Sun. The report claims this has created major tension, with players openly questioning Smith's loyalty to her own team. Imagine stepping onto the court, not knowing if the person wearing the same jersey as you is secretly feeding your strategies to the opposition. How can you trust anyone? The betrayal wasn't just covert, it was public and deeply personal. Kelsey Mitchell's twin sister, Chelsea, took to Facebook to launch a series of vicious attacks. She publicly agreed with posts claiming Clark can't win a single game without them, and told Clark's fans to stay mad. It didn't stop there. The Mitchell family then shared offensive content comparing Caitlin Clark to the troubled and controversial former NFL star Antonio Brown, a move clearly designed to damage her character and reputation. This wasn't a fan sounding off. This was the family of a core teammate publicly humiliating her and fueling the narrative that she is the problem. While one teammate is allegedly leaking plays, another's family is leaking pure hatred online. This is the environment she was living in every single day. So what do you do when your league is targeting you, your union is excluding you, and your own teammates are betraying you? You don't break, you build a fortress. And that's exactly what she did. The story everyone is telling is that Caitlin Clark joined an ownership group for an NWSL team in Cincinnati.
FC Cincinnati provided a statement, there it is, saying in part, quote, "The NWSL Cincinnati bid team is thrilled that Caitlin Clark has joined our ownership group, a women's professional soccer team, to our city. Her passion for the sport, commitment to elevating women's sports in and around greater Cincinnati region, the influence as an athlete and role model for women and girls around the world make her a vital part of our compelling bid to become the 16th team in the NWSL."
That statement from FC Cincinnati is the proof. They call her a vital part of their bid. They praise her influence and her role as a model for women and girls. In the world of soccer, she's seen as an asset, a builder, a leader. But in the world of basketball, the WNBA, she was treated as a threat to be controlled. The contrast is staggering, and it's not an accident. This investment isn't a side hustle. It's an exit strategy. It's a power move designed to send a crystal-clear message to the WNBA. My brand is bigger than your league. My influence is not confined to your courts. And my money will go where I am respected, not where I am resented. This brings us back to the ultimate act of revenge, the $1 million rejection. While the WNBA Players Union was excluding her from merch deals, two of its most prominent members, Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, were creating a new 3-on-3 league called Unrivaled. This league was designed specifically to give WNBA players a high-paying option to compete in the off-season without having to go overseas. It was a league for the players, by the players, and they went straight to Caitlin Clark with an offer of over $1 million for just 8 weeks of play. It was the ultimate olive branch, a chance to unify the players and grow the sport of basketball together. And Caitlin Clark said no. She didn't just say no, she deliberately snubbed them. She looked at the very players whose union had cast her aside, whose league had allowed her to be physically targeted, and she refused to give them her validation. Instead of investing her time and brand in their basketball league, she took her money, potentially over $1 million of it, and invested it in soccer. This was the coldest, most calculated act of revenge imaginable. It was a multi-million-dollar slap in the face. She was telling them, "You want to build something, build it without me. You had your chance to be my partner, and you chose to be my enemy, so I will go find other partners." She turned down basketball money to invest in a rival sport, a move designed to inflict maximum emotional and financial damage. She exposed the devastating truth that while they were playing checkers, trying to isolate her, she was playing chess, building an empire outside of their reach. This whole nightmare was a coordinated effort to make her WNBA experience so miserable that she would fall in line or quit. They wanted her to be just another player, but they made a fatal error. They created their own worst enemy, a superstar with nothing to lose, and 1 foot already out the door. They thought they could control her, but they only controlled how quickly she started planning her escape. Her silent response to all the attacks speaks volumes. She's not complaining in the media. She's not firing back on social media. She's making power moves in the world of high finance and sports ownership. She's letting her actions do the talking, and her actions are screaming that she is preparing for a future that may not include the WNBA at all. So what happens now? The league has a ticking time bomb on its hands. Multiple teams are already preparing massive offers for when Clark becomes a free agent in 2027, with some even looking at international options that could make her the highest-paid female athlete in history. The WNBA's mistreatment of their biggest star could be the most expensive mistake in sports history. They tried to put her in a box, but she's building a new stadium next door. They tried to dim her star, but she's using its light to grow a different sport entirely. The real question is no longer if she will get her revenge. The question is, how far will she go? Is the soccer team just the beginning? What other sports will she move into? This wasn't just a business move, it was a warning shot, and the WNBA has no idea what's coming next.